Today in this video we are going to study about the polar coordinates. But let's recall what we have studied before. So in front of you I am trying to make a Cartesian coordinate, and if I ask you to sketch a graph of 30 degrees, so what do you do? Normally on the standard position you make a ray on the positive x-axis. Now, if you have another terminal side of the ray, another ray which is just on the top of that ray, this is right now you are at 0 degree. Now, if you want to move to the 30 degrees, so you will move in the anti-clockwise direction until you get the 30 degrees. Okay, so here it is 90 degree, or you can use the protractor to mark the 30 degrees. So this side which you get it is said to be the terminal side of the angle. This 30 degree is said to be theta. Now comparing this diagram with the new coordinate system, polar coordinate system, what we will get? So the origin, this point is said to be the origin where the x value is 0 and the y value is 0. Now, in the polar coordinate, this origin point is said to be the pole. Now, on the positive x-axis, if you extend the ray, this is said to be the polar axis. So, only the horizontal axis is said to be the polar axis. Now what do you do? The same way as you want to make, just move in the anti-clockwise direction to make a angle. Okay, now the distance, if you want to find out the distance from the pole to this ray point, to this point P, is denoted by R. So it is the distance from the pole to the desired point P. Try to understand. Now this point has the two coordinates r and theta. Rather than x and y, now you have the r and theta. And again, what is r? R is the distance from the pole to the point P. Okay, and theta is the angle in the anti-clockwise direction. So let's suppose if I ask you to sketch a graph of 1 and 60 degree. Just sketch. If you are even not using the protractor, first of all, just make a point, a pole. So on the origin, you have a pole, and sketch a row, okay, on the horizontal side So this is the polar axis, or near the x-axis, you will have the polar axis. Now you have to make the 60 degree. So 60 degree is in the first quadrant. This is the first quadrant, here is the second quadrant, here is the third quadrant, and this is the fourth quadrant. Here you have the 0 degree, right? Here you have 90 degree. Then you have 180 degree. Then you have 270 degree. Keep adding the 90 and you will come back to first rotation, the original point, 360 degrees. Now you always move in the anti-clockwise direction. You need the 60 degree. So 60 degree is less than 90 degree. It means that you will have somewhere over here the 60 degree. Okay. So now this ray gives you the 60 degree. So let's see here. So I make the 60 degree. What does this 1 mean? 1 means 1 refer to 1 centimeter maybe. Now take your ruler and wherever you have the 1, let's suppose this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So on the 1, make a point like this. So this point P has the values r equals to 1 and theta equals to 60 degree. So this is how we will sketch our polar coordinates. So let's see one more thing, that is 2 and pi by 4. Now pi by 4, right? If you remember that how to convert this pi by 4 into the degree form, multiply it by 180 over pi. So pi and pi cancel, 180 divided by 4 gives you 45 degree. Okay, so now again, first of all, let's try to make like this. This is 0 degree, this is 90 degree, here it is 180 degree, then you have 270 degree and come back to 360 degree. So here you have the first quadrant. So 45 degree is in the first quadrant. So let's see, this is just middle of this one. Now, you have 2 and pi by 4. So, you have 2 centimeters. So, let's suppose this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So, where you will make the point? You will make the point on the second scale over here. Okay, so this is the point which is equals to 2 and pi by 4. But don't forget to make or to show our anti-clockwise direction with the arrow, with the arrows to indicate the theta. Let's try more things. Okay, now we have negative pi by 3. So if you want to write it in the negative pi by 3, so you will have the unit circle, either memorize the negative pi by 3 in the form of a unit circle, or remember or change this negative pi by 3 or let's see here, negative pi by 3 into our degrees. So negative pi by 3 into, to change the radians into degree, we multiply by the 180 over pi. Okay, so now pi and pi cancel. So you will have negative 60 degree. So later on make the 4r, okay, for r. But first make the negative 60 degree. Remember, we always make, so here it is 0, right? Here it is positive 90 degree. Okay, but I don't want the positive side. I don't want to go in the anti-clockwise direction. Why? Because my angle is negative. So I will go in my clockwise direction. So if this is 0, so this would be my minus 90 degree. Then I have here minus 180 degree. Then I have minus 270 degree. And then I will have minus 360 degree. Because my angle is negative, so I have to move clockwise direction. So where is negative 60? Over here, negative 60. Now my direction is clockwise, so like this. So I will have negative 60 then. Now I have this over here, the R is 4. So let's try to sketch the 4 points. 1, 2, 3 and here 4. Okay, so your point P, which is 4 and negative pi by 3 is here. That's it. This is how we sketch the polar coordinates. Let's see here negative 1 and 0. Now this is the thing. First of all, the angle is 0 degree. So you have a polar axis. So you have a pole that is at the origin. Now make a ray, yani the polar axis, make a ray as a polar axis. Now you have the r equals to negative 1. Look at this. Where is positive 1? So here is the positive 1. And my 0 means that 0 degree. So I keep my angle on the same polar axis. Okay, now where is my negative 1? My negative 1 is on the opposite direction. So dot is the positive 1 I will make. I will make the negative 1 on this side. Okay, so this point is the given point, that is negative 1 and 0. Let's try another one, 2 and 150 degrees. So the angle is positive. So let's sketch. Here it is 0, this is 90, this is 180, then 270 and come back to the 360 degrees. Now 150 degree is between 90 and 180, somewhere here. It's not accurate, but somewhere here. Okay, so from where? First of all, you will make on the pole. Here is the pole. Make a polar axis, yani darken it. Make a ray. And now this is your angle where you have to go anti-clockwise. So this is 150 degree. But what is 2? So just make the scale. So this is 1 and this is 2. So this is the point 2 and 150 degrees. So this is how we sketch the polar coordinates. Let's try one more, that is graph S point 1 and 200. So first of all, I will show you that how to make this one. Now where is the pole? Here is the pole. From then the polar axis, just sketch a ray on the polar axis like this, a straight line on the horizontal axis. Now 200 degrees. So here you will have the 0 degree, then you have the 90 degree, over here you have 180 degree, then 270 degree, and come back to 360 degrees. So 200 is between 180 and 270. So somewhere here in the third coordinate. Okay. Now from the 0, you will come anti-clockwise and this is your 200 degree. Now just make a ray like this, show it by arrow. Now 1, right? So let's make some points over here. Okay, so where is the first point? The first point is here. So at this point you have to write 1, 200 degrees. Okay. Next question, -2 and 3 pi by 2. So first of all, forget about this r, that this r is negative. First make everything as a positive r. So remember 3 pi by 2 means 270 degree. But if you don't remember these things, then write 3 by 2 pi and convert it into the degrees. To convert it into degrees, you have to multiply by 180 over pi. So what you will do, that pi and pi cancel. 3 by 2 times 180, it will gives you 270 degrees. So the first thing is just sketch. Here it is 0, here it is 90, then over here 180, 270, and then you have 360 degrees. Okay, after getting this one, the first ray you will make on the polar axis, So this is the ray which you will make on the polar axis. And here is the pole, just make it, darken it. Now 3 pi over 2. The first thing is that if you go 3 pi over 2 means 270 degree, go like that in the anti-clockwise and you will come to this side. Okay, now after this the r is -2. So first of all you are making the positive, forget about the negative. So here 1 and 2. So this is your 2 point. Okay, I will show you by the black point. It's not the original point, but I am showing you like this. Okay. So this is, what is this point? This is the 2 and 270 degree. But you need the -2. So what you have to do, you have to extend the line where you mark +2. You extend the line in the opposite direction. And wherever you have the -2, here it is +2, -2. So this is the point -2 and 3 pi by 2. Okay, so this is the point -2 plus comma 3 pi by 2. So actually what you are doing, please note here. So what you are doing, whenever your r is negative, you add 180 degrees in it. Okay, so whatever the angle is, whenever the r is negative, in the angle, you add 180 degrees. So your angle was what? Your angle was 270, right? Now 270 plus 180. Okay, so plus 180 or make it minus 180. Okay, either plus 180 or make it minus 180, but make sure that the theta should be less than 360 degree. Okay, so in your case, if it is 270 and you add 180. So answer will be greater than 360. So you will ignore it. So rather than plus 180, you are going to minus 180. So 270 minus 180 will gives you 90 degrees. So you see that if you go to the clockwise direction, if you go like that, so your angle will be 90 degree. Okay, so your angle will be 90 degrees. So either write minus 2 or 3 pi by 2, or you can write 2 and 90 degrees. Okay, next question, 4 and negative 90. Now the theta is 90 degree with the negative sign. So we know that positive 90 is on the top here, positive 90. But I need the negative 90. It means I have to go and in the clockwise direction. So it is 0. This is minus 90 degree. This is minus 180 degree. Then you will have minus 270 degrees. And then you will come back to minus 360 degrees. So minus 90 degrees, it means you have over here. Okay, now if you are going to the minus 90 degree, you have the R which is 4. So this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. So here is your angle. So 4 comma negative 90 degrees. Or in other words, remember if you go in the clockwise, in the anti-clockwise direction. So let's take another color. And if you are going in the anti-clockwise direction and you are coming over here. So what are you doing actually? Actually, you are from the angle, you are either adding 360 or you are subtracting 360. Okay, so keep the angle. So angle 90 minus 360 degrees. So 90 minus 360 degree, you will come back to the 270 degrees. Okay, here is our question. To check your knowledge, pause the video and check if you can answer this question. Same way, make your life easier. First of all, 120 degree. So you have to go, if the angle is positive, you have to go in the anti-clockwise direction. So here it is 180, the 90. So 120 degree is in between 90 and 180. So it is somewhere here. And you have to go from the pole, and here is our polar axis, go to the anti-clockwise direction like this. Okay, now check this one. And 3. So this is 1, this is 2, and over here it is the 3. So this is our desired point. So let's try to understand. Okay, so this seems to me correct. Okay, this seems to me correct. And also this seems to me correct. Either C is correct or B is correct. The others are not correct. The A is not correct because they are going in the minus 120 or the clockwise direction. So absolutely wrong. Similarly, over here, the angle looks very open and very wide, okay, very wide. So, of course, this is also not correct because they are going in clockwise direction. We need to go in the anti-clockwise direction. So, look at this now. Just use your eyes to do this one. If I have this straight line and I have this straight line, over here it is 180 degree. Okay, here it is 180 degree and here it is 90 degree. So 120 degree is near to the 180 or near to the 90? Definitely it is near to the 90 degree. So if you have the protector, you use the protector. Otherwise, you can understand that our answer is B because 120 is near to the 90 degree instead of 180 degree. So B is the correct option. So I hope that how to sketch the polar coordinates using the pole, polar axis, r and theta, we understood that how to sketch it. In the next video, we will see how to sketch the diagrams on the polar grid.